It has been a rollercoaster 2 years for Allister Coetzee. His appointment in April 2016 left him hardly any time to prepare the Springboks for the series against Ireland. That had a knock-on effect where he managed just 4 victories from 12. The following year was better with 7 wins. But with a team lacking in a solid game plan, combined with record defeats to New Zealand and Ireland, the beleaguered coach appeared to be heading for the exit.
There are lots of positives, and I will sit with, when I do my review, then obviously we will discuss where this team is and the progress that has been made over this year, and then issues, obviously, SA Rugby can decide, and no one else except SA Rugby then.
Reports suggested that SA Rugby had negotiated a hefty compensation but reduced it to half as the South African media got their hands on the leaked letter where Coetzee blamed SA Rugby for his demise.
Yeah, I'd say there's probably about 40% blame on the situation and probably 60% on him, on his game plan selections, things like that. So to me, he's not totally to blame. He had a bad situation, but he also made mistakes along the way that I think obviously didn't help him.
One factor that certainly hindered Coetzee was the rule that SARU had put in place, stating that only Springboks who had played 30 tests or more and were based overseas would be considered for selection, while the rest of the team would be made up of largely inexperienced locally based players.
I think at the end of the day it'll fall away. I think it was a great move in theory. But the problem is we're seeing that 30-test rule isn't stopping players from going overseas. Money's getting bigger, and the offers of the players getting bigger, and players know now that international rugby doesn't have the same pulling power outside the World Cup than it does in other sports.
Going forward with an eye on the World Cup, the next man in charge will need to make sure all the other rugby franchises across South Africa are on the same page so that history doesn't repeat itself in 2018 and 2019.
What we definitely need is a unified approach. We still got an approach where it's so fractured, every franchise does its own thing. It's like crabs in a bucket. As soon as the one starts getting out, the others put him down.
In 18 months' time, the 2-time world champions will be expected to challenge for the Webb Ellis Trophy. The new man in charge will be tasked with preparing the side to take on the best in the world. The big question is whether or not that person, if it is in fact the director of rugby, Rassie Erasmus, has enough time to turn things around after a dismal 21-month period in Springbok history. Sias to Plessis, CGTN, Pretoria.